us, how's Melvin Ingram? How's Melvin Ingram?
He's pretty good now. He only got today as a full-speed practice. I don't think that's a real big issue since he's an older player and pretty well knows what he's doing, but it hasn't been a good week of preparation for him in the fact that he didn't get a full week. You never know how much that thing's going to restrict him, but his fingers are uncovered, so he can grab to some extent. Yeah.
So as far as physically, he's
well, yeah, but I mean, when you got that big cast, big rubber cast on the hand, the big thing we worry about. It's not a pain problem, you know, nothing like that. It's just what can he do with it? What can't he do with it? Obviously, defensive linemen have to use their hands so much. So, you know, I'm sure it will restrict him to some degree, but it's not painful.
Tennessee's offensive line has had its struggles this year. Does your defensive line think you can get after the quarterback?
Well, I mean, we're not basing that on their offensive line. They're younger, and they've had a few guys in and out of the lineup with injuries, but they're still Tennessee. And you know, I think sometimes we kid ourselves talking about some of these football players at these other schools are not as good. They're Tennessee, and they'll come down here ready to play. And you know, the kids they've got there, they recruited them because they were great players. What we've got to do is play well and play more consistent. You know, I've got confidence in our front no matter who they play. But they do need to play well and try to dominate, no question about it. But you know, they've gotten better. They've run the ball on everybody they've played. They've just had spaces and spots in there where they couldn't do it. And when they want to, now they can get physical. And the back is a very good back. So they've got, you know, they're in the 8th or 9th game. You get into about that 7th, 8th, or 9th game, even young players are better, you know.
As far as the secondary is concerned, are you still looking to play a little bit more man versus zone this week?
We're mixing it up, and you know what we've. I'm not going to talk about everything because I think it, you know, kind of says what we're going to do, and what we do in any ball game is we bring both and see what's working the best. And what we want to do is let our players be a little bit more confident and simple in what we do with less checks. That's been the biggest problem. We've eliminated a lot of checks and getting out of coverage to certain formations or certain looks. And I think that's helped our kids focus more on their technique and be a little more aggressive and confident.
Speaking of confidence, so can you just kind of talk about Akeem, kind of where he is as far as this season maybe versus last season?
Yeah, you know, he's had a couple of ball games where he knows he hadn't played extremely well, but overall, he hasn't had a terrible year. He's still starting in our dime package. He's very critical to us, and frankly, DJ's just had a little bit better season, and frankly, he had a better spring. Wanted to see it on the game field. I don't believe in making a lot of position changes from when someone started previously and someone comes in and has a great week of practice or a great spring practice. It's kind of hard to make a position shift. But DJ really had a better spring, you know, when you go back to that. And he certainly has had a good, solid fall and has deserved to start. And as much as anything, he took the position as much as anybody losing it.
How are Ingram and Sutton, Coach? Will they play this week?
Yeah,
Sutton?
they asked me a little earlier. Sutton, I don't know. Ingram definitely will. He's got a cast on his hands, and he doesn't have complete use of it where he can grab, but he's got his fingers exposed so he can at least use them some. Chaz has not practiced very much. I don't know where he is because he had a pin put in his.
Right. Can you just kind of talk about the Tennessee team as a whole, where they are this year, and how different maybe it is to see them as the team that they are this season?
Well, you know, I don't want to get caught up in that too much. I coached at Alabama 2 different times, and the first time I was there, we had a stretch of 31 wins in a row, 34 unbeaten, won a national championship, 2 SEC championships. And I was gone for 3 years, and when I got back, they'd been through some probation and some situations that the talent level had dropped, and players didn't want to understand it and see it. And I don't think the work habits increased, you know, to match that. And sometimes when you play at a big time program like that, and all of a sudden you're not successful, you don't want to think it's you. But they're going through a rebuilding right now. But you know, it was a very tough situation. These guys have had 3 head coaches in 3 years. I don't know how many college football players have played in the history of college who can say that, and that's hard to deal with. But they, you know, whether it's successful or unsuccessful, we can't get caught up in that. We've got to play better and play more consistently. And they've played everybody tough, at least for a half. And 3 of those people I'm talking about are definitely top 10 teams. You know, Oregon, Alabama, and Florida, all those guys played about in the country, and they right there in the ball game with them, you know, for a while. they just run out of gas or make a mistake and somebody puts them away. But they've got a very capable football team, and we will have to play extremely well. I'm expecting a tough game.